Hey, I'm Dave Hunt. I am the Director of Business Development at Silver Ships Incorporated, and we're out here today at the dock to take a look at our most recent completed fireboat. This boat will be going to Fort Walton Beach, Florida. It is our Explorer 32. So we're looking at a length of, we're all about 35 feet, including the engine and engine guard, 32 length overhaul. And then the beam on this boat is 10.5 feet. Okay, we're going to take a look at the boat in detail, going from bow to stern. Like I mentioned before, this is our Explorer 32, which most commonly comes with a bow door that you see here. That is an option. We do build this vessel without a bow door for other workboat applications. What really sets this boat apart is the capacity available to you for cargo, in this case, loading and unloading UTVs, ATVs. The door will also function effectively as a dive platform, and you can see that for search and recovery and rescue operations, we've fitted it with handholds and tow holes, as well as a socket for a dive ladder, really making this a multi-mission vessel. You can see here on the front, this is the fireboat variant. So we got our fire monitor up forward, along with our 5-inch Storz LDH discharge. That is something that is a standard feature of every one of our fireboats, is having the ability to not only fight fires from that vessel, but also to move up to shore and utilize this boat as essentially a large fire. A couple of other quick things I'd like to draw your attention to is over here to the port side, we have a hinged dive door along with another socket, as well as a stowable dive ladder to facilitate not only the dive operations, but again, those recovery operations, bringing personnel aboard. Another thing I want to point out about the bow door, we do multiple methods for actuating that bow door. In this case, we're using DC-powered linear actuators, similar to what you might see in terms of a hydraulic actuator, but all electric. We will do electric over hydraulic, as well as a winch and pulley system. This comes down to the needs of the department and the intent behind the use of the vessel, your operational mission profile, and just the way you plan to do business. And this is something that we work with our customers very closely to try to understand what they're going to be doing and with whom they're going to be doing it in order to provide them the best boat possible for what they're trying to accomplish. All right, moving into the cabin, there's quite a lot to look at in here. So I'm going to try to break this down very easily to get through it. Foremost, we have the operator station. You can see here this boat is outfitted with Raymarine electronics, which includes their EAIS 5000 system, providing an enhanced level of interoperability with the U.S. Coast Guard, which was the intent behind the selection of Raymarine. And we have navigation and communication equipment, all of our switching. What we try to do here in terms of layout is, when we make the initial proposal to the customer and we've designed this console and laid it out for them, we try to ensure that those items that are needed by the driver and only the driver are there, available and easy to get to. And because we understand that there's more than one crew member on the boat. So we're trying to lay things out where they belong so that they fit within that department's standard operating procedures, essentially. And so another unique thing about the way we do business is this is all notional in the early stages of design. And until we fabricate the vessel, this gets cut by hand, and the customer gets the final say and approval on that. So then moving over here to the port side, you can see we've split the displays. We have another navigation display over here, as well as the fire system controls. So up here, you can control the pump, as well as aid in navigation when you're doing, again, those search and recovery operations. He's got his eyes on the screen for the search and recovery, while the operator is allowed to just focus on navigating and operating the vessel. Moving just after that, we have a patient treatment area. Because the Explorer cabin is a little bit shorter, and that's a function of where we're putting the pump in the aft deck. We'll see that in a little bit. You can't really fit a fully stub slitter on this normally. So what we've done is we added a flip-up bolster, so this thing can flip down when we have a patient being treated here, and we're doing regular operations. We can lift this up so that the fire system operator is somewhat much like a lean was. Below that, you'll see that we have configurable storage. This is another area where we work with the customer very closely, and really try to understand what they're going to be storing, whether they need power to that location for charging. And, ultimately, if they don't have a very firm and clear idea, say it's a department that's standing up a marine unit for the first time, we just try to make it as easy for them to change as possible so that once they figure out their operations, the boat will facilitate that. Then over here on the other side, we have another bench seat with below storage. In there, we have an air conditioning system, DC powered air conditioning system. That allows them to have, HVAC on the boat and climate control while not having to pay the extra cost of a generator, which can be pricey if it's only needed for providing air conditioning. And then you can see here along the bulkhead that we've got the Zika walkaway brackets for that, those opportunities and times when they're going to need to use the SCBA. They can button the cabin up for the guys inside, and the guys outside are going to be protected. Okay, one additional thing I'd like to talk about, aside from just the features of the boat, much like I mentioned, that 5-inch Storz outlet up on the bow is standard in every fireboat. Every fire system gets it. There are some standard features in every Silverships boat, regardless, especially in our cabin boats. I'd like to point a couple of those things out. So much of the lighting is already standard. All of the required lighting, of course, is standard. The USB and 12-volt combo power ports, those are standard in every vessel, along with cup holders. I know it sounds like a small thing, but it really does matter. All of our cabin boats come equipped with paneling and insulation for both sound attenuation as well as climate control. And of course, it's going to have the required safety equipment. So every vessel that we deliver is going to be delivered with everything that you need except for PFDs in order to be completely legal on the water. So all of your anchoring and mooring equipment, all of your safety equipment based on the size of the vessel will be provided so that when the vessel shows up, it's turnkey. And that's been very important to us. Here to the aft cockpit, there are a couple of things to show you before we get into the fire system. A couple of options that are back here. You can see the tow post. That is an option that we provide. Here in the back, we've tried to set this up for maximum access to below deck for maintenance and inspection. So I've got one hatch already lifted up over here. We got our batteries on both sides, port and starboard. A lot of that's balance. A lot of that is just the configuration that works the best. So we tried to make this easy for your maintenance personnel to get into and work on it, take care of it, expect it to make sure everything's going well. Because we have the batteries back here, we use remote battery switching on most of our 5As. And that's one of the things that I don't think I pointed out on the console, but we have remote battery switches just to make it one less thing to have to think about. So we'll go ahead and close this real quick. And then get into the fire system, which really is the heart of every fireboat. So this boat is outfitted or equipped with the Darling LSDE 1000 fire pump. That is a 1,000 gallon per minute fire pump married up to a 4.3 liter V6 engine. It's been marinized by Kodiak, and Darley puts this together as a package all together. So then we drop this pump in, and then we add all the ancillary equipment required to make this pump function. As we saw before on the fire control station, we have a pump boss. So you can control this motor either in RPM mode or GPM mode, because it does have, it measures the flow rate, and pressure mode, so PSI. To point out, and this goes back to the same theme we had up forward and in the cabin, is standard features, things that you don't have to ask for because they're going to be included. Every one of our fire systems is going to include its own fire suppression system. Anytime we put an engine below deck, whether it be a generator, fire pump, anything, you'll note here we have a compartment fire suppression system that automatically deploys in the event of a fire in this compartment. To prevent that, we do have bilge blowers in every one of our fire compartments. And when we're setting this up to make it as easy as possible for the operators to go from transit mode in response to on station and then get into operations and start firefighting. Talk about the roof now and some of the features that are installed up there. Again, I mean, as we said, this boat's got a lot more in its mission than just fighting fires and fire suppression. We do anticipate search and rescue response. So to that end, and this being a 24-hour job, in addition to regular work boat lighting, so deck spreader up here on the aft cart of the radar and radar arch, we have, you see here, port and starboard, scene lighting. So these are Durabright scene lights. This is the Durabright Mini. Very, very powerful lights that when deployed can light up the entire water around the vessel, making it significantly easier to deal with people who are, having problems in low light situations. In addition to that, we have emergency lighting as well as the siren all the way around 360-degree coverage. And you can see up here we have small camera, IP camera, which ultimately allows your chart plotter to work as a rearview mirror. So one more of those things that in a cabin bed gives you that additional situation awareness. All of our antennas are up there on the roof as well. One other note, and again, I keep going back to the theme of standard. It's going to have a heading sensor and GPS on every one of these vessels. For the Rain Marine in particular, we use the augmented reality system that while you might not be able to utilize all the features of augmented reality, as you upgrade in the future, that is the capability that's available to you without having to pay an additional cost. All right, now that we've made it all the way aft, really the only things left to talk about are the propulsion system. This one is outfitted with Twin 300 Duo Plus from Suzuki. And in addition to your standard hydraulic steering, this also has the ability to do joystick steering. Between them, we have your boarding ladder should you go overboard and not have anybody in the vessel to help assist you. That can be deployed from the water, so that's another safety feature of this vessel. And then finally, the engine protection and crash guard. This one's got a little bit of an additional option on it. This is a storage rack for Stokes litter. So giving you a place to be able to store that Stokes litter, easy access, but out of the way. Now that we got the boat back at the shop for the final touch-ups before sea trials, just wanted to take this moment to thank you guys for looking at the boat with us today, as well as don't forget to leave us a comment if you like this style of video so we can do more like it in the future. And go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you'll get notified for upcoming projects. Thanks a lot.